Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Raypower FM. My name is Amechi Anopwe. Now we have some stories and the accompanying analysis for your pleasure and understanding today. Now, inflation rate slightly went up, but that's not the news. The news, bigger one, yes, it has some implication, is that airlines are saying the price of aviation fuel, ATK, is indeed beyond their reach. They are saying they were about 300% increase in the prices, and so they have two options: either to increase prices, and when they do it, a lot of people face the dangers of the road and few people can afford the ticket, or they continue running and go out of business. So the warning of possible suspension of flight operations very soon. This is what the big men will not want. The big men can afford, even if you increase the prices by 500%. Some of us that are already enjoying the luxury may be knocked out. So some of us at the lower rung may be knocked out. So a problem for the industry and for the government. I can't remember the last time they threatened. They are threatening strike at Adebayo Bodri, comrade Adebayo Bodri Balogun, and Chuks Onwoka is joining us also.
Well, it's not unexpected that you can have people in the aviation sector will raise concerns like this. I took a flight from Lagos to Abuja on last Saturday, and I had the younger ones, even though their parents bought tickets for them, and they were complaining, what daddy gave us, it's not as high as this, see what they're asking for us. And I laugh. It's because they are children of the rich, and so they are enjoying that luxury. Even me, who is working, if not for,
you have to book very early.
And look for sponsorship has to come. So it's not a case where I just walk straight there and just dump the thousands. It's not just there. It will affect. There are certain things that you cannot run away from. We also have visitors to Nigeria who usually make domestic travels, and so it's not only Nigeria that it will affect. It will affect our friends, sympathizers, and those who still.
So what should we do? The government has said no going back on subsidy.
The side of it is that I will still fall back on what Dangote said when he visited the president. I agree totally with him. And it's a voice, the rich speaking for the generality of the people, because Dangote is rich. But he raised a critical question that majority of Nigerians will suffer. So it's not, we are talking about one sector now, and that's the aviation sector. Even those who travel by road, go to Jabi, and try to make a trip to Kaduna, and compare with what
to do in Lagos.
Compare with what we pay at this time last year. Compare with what we pay to Lagos at this time last year. The whole thing is on increase, and will still increase. So I think those in government should rush quickly to go and buy long thinking caps and adorn them, and start thinking of how can we ameliorate the challenges facing the citizens and each sector of the economy.
And Chuks, as they do that, as they are thinking about how to deal with the rising ATK, aviation turbine kerosene, that's Jet A, in the aviation industry, they must also think about how to deal with the rising prices of PMS, premium motor spirit, for the ordinary people. Yeah. Because you can't deal with one problem involving big men and ignore the other problem involving the regular folks.
Yeah, starting with the big men, with the jet prices. I think from 900 naira per litre to 3,300 naira, that's a very huge increase as well. And it's obviously going to price out a lot lot of Nigerians. Someone, I think 2 days ago, was posting how much he was about to buy his flight ticket from Lagos to Abuja. It was over 400,000 naira. How many Nigerians can actually pay 400,000 naira for it?
So what's the minimum wage?
Yeah.
What is the minimum wage?
Companies, flight airlines are going to make losses because their jets, their planes are going to be empty, basically. And going by interviews, I think early this year, EPI's chairman, I think was Allen, was talking about how they pay huge taxes, to the government. So probably the government can look at that angle as well to see how they can cut down on the taxes, for airlines. If they're importing parts, if you're paying so and so amounts, the tax on it is usually huge. He was making complaints about that. If they've had a sit down with the government since then, only them can let us know. But the truth is that average Nigerians are going to be priced out from using airlines, and it's going to be a ripple effect for that sector. Now, to the average Nigerian as well, how many of us can even afford to travel
this time
up and decide to travel?
No, unless it's very important.
Yeah,
that's what I found out. Unless you have very, 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 very important mandatory trip, people don't travel these days.
Even for
telecoms companies say make the call, don't make the trip.
Shooks, let me tell you, I last week I have a visitor, and I took him back to Jabi to travel back to Osun State.
Jabi Motor Park in Abuja.
And I can tell you that, and we are targeting the first vehicle that is going to Osogbo, capital of Osun State. Before, by 6:30, the first vehicle will leave. By 6:45 or 7 a.m., the second will leave in those days. But I can tell you, as at 10:30 a.m., they don't have a vehicle that is looking for six passengers. Six passengers. They couldn't get 6 passengers. Okay. As at 7:30 a.m. That is telling you that people are reducing traveling because the money is not there.
Yes.
And I can, for example, as at December, from Abuja to Osogbo is about 15,000. Now, as last week, it has jumped up to 32,500.
How much have
so if you pay that trip too, and you are coming back for minimum wage, you cannot travel.
And I must say that
you can't travel with 70,000.
If you invite somebody, for example, for your wedding, that person you're getting married in Lagos, you're in Abuja. That person, I would prefer to send you money than to even go for your wedding. I would prefer, if it's 30,000 naira that I have or 50,000 naira that I have, I would prefer to send it to you. That's what a lot of people are doing now. They cannot afford to travel because once you think about your transportation, you think of the hotel you're going to stay in, and it's too much on one person. So unless it is really, really important, that's when you go. So, and we're going to see more of this as the year goes by, if we do not have this thing being addressed.
Now, the aviation sector, they have airlines operators of Nigeria. They have an organized group. So they are able to articulate their position, and they have the voice, the means to push it out. Now, that's one sector of the economy. There are multiple sectors of the economy that are not as organized as this. They are under pains, excruciating pains. Their businesses are folding up, but they can't push out the message. So what happens across the country is that businesses are dying, suffocating to death. They have their knees on the neck of these businesses, and so it's a huge challenge. Remember my position on socio-economic indices. If you're killing businesses, you're killing jobs, and when you're killing jobs, for me, unemployment rate is the major determinant of your success. Poverty rate is a major determinant of your success rate. So when businesses are folding up, jobs are being lost, more poor people will emerge. That's why poverty, the number of people poor in Nigeria is increasing, and you may not understand why. But at the same time, government is telling us, the chairman of Nigerian Revenue Service, Jack Adedeji, said that indeed, if not for the removal of fuel subsidy, what did he say? That we would have been paying how many trillions in subsidy. So Nigerians are asking, the savings you made from there, That thing should have paid if the subsidy wasn't removed. Where is it now? And one of our listeners in the mail is also raising the issues. Because that subsidy was removed, you're making savings, you have acknowledged it, you increase the electricity tariff, push people into band A, B, C, D, E, you're saving so much, you're raising taxes, all these things are happening, and you're still borrowing more than double in 3 years what Buhari did in 8 years. So where is the money, all this money? Yet we are unable to implement budget. Senator Tambuwa highlighted what we all know. 2024 budget, contractors that implemented it are still being owed. They are dying. Some of them went for bank loans that they can't pay back, and it's a hopeless situation since 2024. They have not yet been paid for the services they render to the government. 2025 budget was not implemented. You know what happened to the health sector? Only 29 million. 29 million was released for the capital project. 2026 budget not yet in place. So the federal government is unable to implement our budget in spite of all these savings and in spite of the borrowings.
Yes,
where is the money, federal government of Nigeria?
Very sad one, I must say. Very, very sad one. Because if we have removed subsidy, which was beneficial to the average person there, to keep things down so that the Nigerian people can breathe and survive, where is that money being channeled to? I thought by now those monies would have been channeled into education, would have been channeled into healthcare, into security. But as you've mentioned, 29 million released for health is more than poor, is below poor. So what is the federal government? This is the
accountability. It's not up to one organ. When the president goes to France for his Medicare, do you know how much he spends?
We're talking about today. This morning I was coming to the office, and here in Asokoro, there was a street I passed.
In Abuja.
Yes, in Abuja, and they were building a beautiful mini estate. And I looked to the left and I looked to the right, shanties, and I was like, this is not looking good. If this kind of beautiful estate is being built, I was seeing poor
you know what the Bible said?
By the right,
those in hell will hear the noise of the pleasure in heaven, but those in heaven will not hear the cries and pains of those in hell. So there's this side by side.
We need accountability when it comes to all of these monies being generated. So we also be having over 100 and something trillion naira in debt. How are we accumulating these monies? If we're saving money from subsidies, we are taxing people, we're making different organizations are saying this is what they are generating per year from customs.
Some of them are overshooting.
Yes, they're overshooting.
But where's the money?
Where's this money going into?
The Nigerian
our debt situation, total national debt, public debt is almost 160 trillion naira. Now, some people have broken it down. What are you owing? If per capita now it's called debt per capita, you're owing you're owing 724,000 as a Nigerian.
As in every Nigerian.
And that is shared proportionately.
That is based on the population.
And it shouldn't be shared proportionately. Those that approve the debt, those that spend the money should pay that 30%.
You see,
me that is an onlooker, I can only pay.
But on a more serious note, that calculation was based on a population of 220 million citizens
per capita.
So every Nigerian is owing 724,000. And that is as at December 31 last year. Between January and March, we borrow more. And the public debt, the domestic debt, is the highest. Almost about from the analysis is 53.27%.
Crowding out the private sector from assessing capital.
From domestic debt. And the federal government has the highest. They are owing 80.49 trillion naira, while states, including the Federal Capital Territory, are owing 4.36 trillion naira. My worry, this borrowing that keep on rising, we are mortgaging the future of Nigerians, future generations of Nigeria.
So even a one-year-old child will pay 724,000.
Because the way we are still borrowing, why
did we bring me to this?
I'm borrowing is that the present generation may not even be able to pay. So it's future generation we are shifting that body to. So they are going to be a generation of paying basic. Basic, that is Yoruba word for death. The basic generation. So are we happy with that? Because there is no plan in place, like Obasanjo through Konjo-Iweala did, that will clear all the debt we are owing.
I wonder what will be going on in the mind of Obasanjo now. I know how hard himself and the Okonjo-Iweala
traveling and working hard to negotiate
to clear the debts, only for other administration to tell him you wasted your time. He should have blown the money and helped himself. Those around him could have helped.
My worry is that as a nation or as a state that we will know. Where on what are we spending this money?
I think
where are the priorities? I keep on saying that
I can answer. It's going to the federation account. States are getting more. And that's the huge mistake this administration is making. If you ask them, they say it's going to the states. Go and hold the states governors responsible. Not when you cannot feed your child, you call the name of the president. They may have a point there, but the fact is that, and we have told them, that because of our fiscal indiscipline, this money will not be spent rightly. State governors are getting more. They have acknowledged. So what do? They go on a spending spree. They spend more on recurrent expenditure and still the remaining. So it would have had a positive impact if they had targeted expenditure that will impact positively on the life of citizens. That's the assumption, that no, when the money comes, they'll spend it rightly. But the states will even ask the federal government, you're getting over 52% from the federation account. Where are you spending yours?
Just to add before Mr. Bodere comes. The fact that on social media we still see governors, we still see local government chairmen come and post on social media.
They bought cars, videos.
They bought cars for traditional rulers.
Yes.
Even the local government chairman buys cars for his friends who are supporting him at the local government level. These are where these monies are going to. This is what they are using it for. Meanwhile, the average Nigerian there doesn't know where his healthcare is coming from.
Yes.
Doesn't know how to survive the next day. So these are issues that we need to sort out.
You see, like I said, it's not as if we cannot borrow, but we need to have priorities. This money that is going to the states, is elephant. I call them elephant projects that are of no direct benefit to the ordinary citizens of those states. You build new government house, you build conference center,
airport,
you build airport,
flyover,
you build flyover,
legacy project,
legacy project and all the rest, and you are showcasing that. And then when you are commissioning it, they shout, "To God be the glory." Yet, to God be the glory that those infrastructures are there. But can we really say, can the citizens beat their chests and say, "To God be the glory"? These projects are impacting directly on our life. No.
Okay.
They are not. So, because you see, in the First Republic, I keep on making reference to it because I've read so much about it. In the then Eastern region and the then Western region, there was a massive agricultural project. At the beginning of every farming season, seedlings were distributed free to farmers. You have agricultural extension workers moving from village to village, guiding the farmers. And then we were making a huge sum of money.
That was a responsible state.
From
a responsible father.
From cash crop.
Parents of the period you were mentioning were those that were responsible and responsive to their children. The parents, the government we have today, are just thinking of themselves alone. I recall those days when they deployed these officials to the remotest part of the country to help the farmers. And that tells outside the country, other clients, even if you borrow money from the bank to business, they won't give you a walk away. They will stay with you. They will provide technical backup, how you can utilize that money. They will guide you how you can effectively improve on the money. That was what government was doing before. But today, OYO, you're on your own. Whatever you do, they won't even give you. They come with their taxes. And if they tell you the number of taxes they're collecting from you, there's this statement credited to Dangote that government is taking almost 45% in taxes from each naira he makes. So what the government we have today are not the government that are responsible. They are irresponsible, that want to take from their children. Who is that parent that will depend on their children to survive? That is what we're expressing in Nigeria. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we will take your mails online and offline, then further reports and analysis. Can get it elsewhere. Stay with us.
Council, Senate, management and staff of the National Open University of Nigeria, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Uduma Oji Uduma, cordially invites the general public to the 15th convocation ceremony of the university coming up on Friday, April 17th to Saturday, April 18th, 2026 in Abuja and the 36 states of the Federation. The ceremony will feature a convocation lecture to be delivered by Chief Kanu Godwin Agabi, SAN, CON, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. Date, Friday, April 17th, 2026 at the conference hall of the university in Abuja by 11 a.m. While the convocation ceremony proper will come up on Saturday, April 18th, 2026 at the Convocation Arena of the University, Jabi, Abuja by 10 a.m. Graduates should note, this invitation is limited to only first-class graduates, award winners, postgraduate diplomas graduates, masters, doctorate and honorary doctorate graduates. All other first-degree graduates from all study centers, including those in the Federal Capital Territory, are to proceed to their study centers in their respective state's capital for the ceremony. Registrar Oladipo Ajayi, announcer.
All right, welcome back. This is the mail segment, and I am Aichida Majekodomi.
I am Chidera Izudoye. Welcome. Writing from Kubwa, Amici Obochi says, the executive chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, stated on Tuesday during the commissioning of the NRS headquarters in Abuja that Nigeria would have spent about 52 trillion on fuel subsidies, representing 76% of the 68 trillion 2026 budget, if the policy had not been removed. While this may sound like a significant observation, it raises an important question. Where exactly are the 52 trillion supposedly saved? From my perspective, it is difficult to see clear evidence of these savings. Despite the claim, Nigeria has continued to borrow heavily, even beyond this amount. At the same time, poverty levels have worsened, with more Nigerians slipping into extreme hardship since the removal of the fuel subsidy. Concerns about corruption also remain high, yet the policy is still widely presented as one of the most beneficial decisions of this current administration. However, one chooses to interpret it. Adedeji's remarks can also be seen as aligning with and defending the position of President Tinubu's government.
And now to political matters. Emeka Mba from Abuja here says, the former vice president of the opposition African Democratic Congress, ADC chieftain Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is making the headlines in both print and electronic media with his recent television interview where he noted that the South had held the presidency for about 18 years compared to the North 10 years, and revealed that 2027 will be his last slot at the presidency. This is a pointer that the power rotation and zoning arrangement is not top on the priority list of the opposition ADC. Well, while it is in their right to choose whatever model they want, it is also important to remind Atiku Abubakar that and the ADC that it is the same thought process and actions of the former vice presidential candidate that factionized the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and pitched Nyesom Wike's camp against Atiku's camp and left PDP in the lodge that it is today. History is bound to repeat itself when people don't learn from it and past mistakes. But I want to believe that the African Democratic Congress as a party would know exactly what to do, irrespective of their individual ambitions, having come from the PDP that is now in life support in the political ICU, if they want exasperated Nigerians to take them seriously.
And in the same line, Omolayo John is saying INEC is an umpire for neutrality in partisan politics, but now very busy in counter-interpretation of law court orders. ADC is in a self-afflicted political epilepsy. The party is full of experience and ambitious politicians, yet it finds it difficult to put their house in order. APC must stop in defending INEC's activities and actions. It is a strange message. God bless Nigeria.
And Ejiofor Isife, writing from Abuja, says, the recently concluded ADC factional convention underscores a troubling perception that the government in power may be deploying every conceivable measure to silence the opposition. In the allegations, if the allegation bear any resemblance to the truth, particularly the claim that the organizers were compelled to vacate the Rainbow Event Center, which served as the venue of the convention, by its proprietors, citing directives from higher authorities, then it raises profound concerns about our collective readiness to uphold and nurture democratic values. Reports that delegates were left to fan themselves with books, handkerchiefs, and other improvised materials due to the refusal of the venue management to provide electricity despite prior payment further deepens the sense of deliberate obstruction and institutional insensitivity. The suppression of opposition voices is not a mark of strategic political acumen. Rather, it is a subtle form of manipulation that reveals vulnerability. It speaks not of confidence and strength, but of apprehension and institutional fragility. In a maturing democracy, dissent and pluralism are not threats to be extinguished, but essential elements that sustain political vitality, foster accountability, and preserve the legitimacy of governance. One would have expected that after nearly 27 years of uninterrupted democratic governance, the culture of internal party democracy would have evolved into a more robust, disciplined, and principled system.
And that is how far we can go on the mail segment. Keep sending in your mails to politicalplatform@darkgroup.com.
Thank you so much for the offline mails. Now to the online. Jeremiah Okudo says, since I was born and over 35 now, I have seen prices that have gone up. I've never seen prices that have gone up come down. Is it that deflation is not possible in our economy? Well, elementary economists will tell you about inflation and tell you about deflation. During inflation, prices go up. During deflation, they go down. But this young man in 35 years has not seen deflation. I pray that you see it very soon, Jeremiah. At Tenment Factory says, apart from the money for transportation fare, insecurity is another factor. Even if you have the money, you have to be praying all through the journey. Chisara says, from Abuja to Abia is 52,800. That's the least. Even the CNG buses or vehicles are collecting 45,000. Olatunde says, Ibrahim, I joined Tracker Sienna vehicle, government transport to Oka last Thursday for 65. I presume it's from Abuja, 65,000. So that's exactly what I said. Those that are organized, the airline operators of Nigeria are speaking up. Yeah. The regular folks that don't have the capacity are suffering in silence. Fella, where are you? Suffering and smiling.
Yeah, it's a very sad situation as it is now. They've mentioned, very high prices, 65,000, and like you rightfully mentioned before, 77,000 is the minimum wage. So if you remove 65,000 from 77,000, how much do you
from 70,000?
70,000.
There's another for the 5,000. The fine to be imposed if you fail to declare your income based on the new tax laws. If they catch you, if they bab you and arrest you and prosecute you, they will fine you 100,000. And minimum wages is 70,000. You just have them to take you away. You readily follow.
It's a very sad one. And to that inflation story, I saw a picture yesterday of 1982. It was shop owner in 1982, and I can tell you that in that shop, I did not see one single sachet of any of that products there, from oats to sardine to soap, and then. But look at what we have now. Sachet everywhere, because the average Nigerian cannot afford to
Is
buy.
Impoverishment.
I mean,
that's how we have descended from affluence. Before it was those big, that giant milk. I don't know whether your generation saw it. That big tin milk.
Yeah.
My father will probably go and bring it home and will descend on it. Today, an average family
is sachet.
Is sachet. It's now sachet economy. It's an indicator of level of poverty.
And NAFDAC is calling that sachets to be discarded
for alcohol. People are taking their names to the gods of Allah.
That is strange. We have.
So it should be a commodity for big men.
The era of when you have minimum wage and you can afford so many things. As a very junior reporter, I was flying Nigerian Airways,
buying brand new cars.
I can tell you that
were buying brand new cars in Nigeria.
When
I was young, when I was small, I was seeing it right before.
Look,
I go find brand new.
I walk to the airport in Kano, where I grew up, where I was also working, and then with 18,000 naira, I will buy a ticket that will take me to Lagos.
Okay. Let me tell you, before we go, that 18,000 naira can buy me only one body spray, one roll-on, and that's it.
Very Chooks, if we go to your house now, we can see few packs, not even carton of Indomie.
Yes.
We'll see sachet milk.
Yes.
We'll see sachet Milo.
Yes.
And maybe sachet alcohol. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good time.